Christmas came early and I'm all up for it, man. This figure is amazing. Hello everyone, this is Marco and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the brand new SUCHOMIMUS made by Mattel for the Jurassic World Chaos Theory line. When I first saw the promotional pictures for this figure, oh my goodness, I thought this looks really good. And having it in hand, I noticed that it's just as good as I thought, if not a little bit better. So let's take a look at the box first, and then we'll delve into the figure and the design. So the box is an open box. It's not got any coverings, any windows. The figure is just right there for us to look at. I really love the minimalist design to this packaging. Let's take a closer look. On the bottom left we have the Netflix logo, the Jurassic logo. I really like this particular version. It almost looks like a stencil sprayed version of it. There's the Jurassic World Chaos Theory logo. It says Gigantic Tracker SUCHOMIMUS, and on the right there's some renders of the Atrociraptors for some reason. The background is a lovely gradient, which reminds me a bit of the classic Kenner Jurassic Park package design. But it's a little bit more abstract, as there's a silhouette of the T-Rex logo. We also have a picture demonstrating the action features of this figure. For the back of the box, I don't think it could get any more minimalistic. There's just an orange background sort of gradient, a picture of the toy showcasing the action features. There's some information about scanning the dinosaur figure into the app. There's one picture of another figure from the line, and then there's plenty of safety jargon here and there. Enough said about the box. Let's take it out of its restraints. Now usually with bigger figures like this, we have to remove some pegs from underneath the feet. But in this case, it's different. I'm not sure if it's because they gave it smaller feet so they couldn't add some pegs underneath. Who knows? All we have to do is just cut through these transparent plastic strings. So here it is out of the box. Now let's talk about its design. For Jurassic World Chaos Theory, a ton of SUCHOMIMUS variants were designed and proposed, but only a very limited selection were picked. This figure is based on one of 3 SUCHOMIMUS that appear in the show. 2 of those are quite similar to each other, and then there's a third one that is quite different. There are 2 mainly yellow ones and one more sort of grey. The first one we'll take a look at is the most vibrant of them all. It's mainly a bright yellow or orange with really striking red markings, and it has a really bright teal coloured eye. Maybe like sea foam colour, I'm not too sure. It's like a green or blue. The other one has slightly duller colours with orange markings, and an orange eye too. The underbelly colour is a bit more on the green side compared to the other one. And this last one is grey, but it has some really cool maroon or dark red marks, and a bright green set of eyes. Let me know which one is your favourite in the comment section down below. I quite like that grey one. I love a striking green eye, but I really like the one with the teal coloured eyes too. The second variant is my least favourite, but I don't hate it. I actually really like it a lot. They're all stunning designs and variants, and I'm not surprised that they went for these 3 in the end. So I'm positive that our Mattel figure is supposed to be depicting that second variant, the one with the orange markings and the orange eyes. I would like to talk about the accuracy of these designs first, before we delve into actually looking at the figure a bit more closely. I was very pleasantly surprised to learn that these designs are actually quite scientifically accurate, especially proportions wise. Someone on my Discord went ahead and overlapped these designs onto an actual SUCHOMIMUS skeletal drawing, and it matches pretty much perfectly. So well done to the designers of Jurassic World Chaos Theory. That's amazing. That being said, we're mainly talking about the side view. Once we look at them from the front, they are really wide. Just comparing the skull with the final design, you can definitely tell how much wider they are. But personally, I don't think it's a big deal. I just wanted to point it out because I'm quite thorough like that. But the fact that they put a lot of effort into making it look accurate from the side is a big deal. That is really cool. We don't often get that in the Jurassic World series as much. If we look at the Atrociraptors, for example, they're not scientifically accurate one bit. But the SUCHOMIMUS, yes, that is really cool. But yeah, I'm quite partial about Baryonyx, SUCHOMIMUS, any of those. They're just my favorite type of dinosaur. So I brought up the width of the dinosaurs for a reason, and that's because at first glance, if you grab this figure, you'll notice that it's really wide. The head is almost silly wide, and the body's quite wide too. But at the end of the day, it's based on the show, and the show one is wide, so it's accurate to the show, and that's great. That's what we want. It does suffer from the classic Mattel short tail from the main line, but I guess we all kind of expected that anyway. And as we're still on the topic of proportions, they gave it smaller feet too compared to other older Mattel figures, so that is a plus. Now the biggest plus this figure has is it's just amazing, and that's the amount of paintwork this thing has is absurd. It's got so much paint on it, but we'll get more into that later. Let's take a closer look at the elements of the sculpt first. So let's start with the head. The first thing I notice about the head is the scars, but that's not just on the head. The whole figure has got so many scars and cuts on it. Kind of a bit overboard, and I actually quite like it. The head is quite slim, it's quite crocodilian, which is quite similar to what we see in the fossil record anyway. It is a little bit thin on the top half of the head compared to the bottom jaw, but it's still fine. It looks beautiful regardless. The detailing on it is really crisp. There's tons of small little scales everywhere, but my favorite part about the head is the friggin' teeth. They're molded and casted separately into rubber, and they've all been designed so well. They're nice and slim and long and sharp looking, but they're not big, and it's all been incorporated into the figure so seamlessly. Like, it's such a crisp looking figure. And what's crazy is this is one of the aspects that they've borrowed from the Hammond collection line. They brought in sharper rubber teeth and smaller feet too. Let's move down to the neck. The neck's quite long and slim. It's got some nice folds in the skin too. The body is nice and chunky. I really like how robust it feels. But my favorite parts about this is the raised spine, and the fact that you can't see the rib cage means this is a healthy animal. And I really like the folds in the skin too. Again, it's peppered with these scars everywhere, and the fine detailing is really good too. Another part I really appreciate is these arms. I love how thick and strong they look. And my favorite bit about this is that they're actually soft rubber. Like, it feels like rubber sauce. It's amazing. I absolutely love that. And the detail on them, again, is brilliant. Fine scaling. The scoots are really nice, and again, there's so many scars on this. I'm not sure if SUCHOMIMUS had a bigger claw on its hand like Baryonyx did. If it did, it's a bit of a missed opportunity. But I feel like the Jurassic World design for the Baryonyx kind of undersold how big the claw was on its hands. Like, that is a very iconic thing about Baryonyx, and it's just kind of glossed over it a bit. Like, it was big, guys. It was a big claw. Looking at the legs, they look really nice. They're nice and sturdy. It's got some nice musculature on them. But again, with those scars, man, especially on this left leg, on the thigh, there's a massive gash on it. Bless it. That must have hurt. Then looking at some more detail, like on the knee, the wrinkles on the skin, that's very nicely done. And of course, the nice feet too. It's got some really meaty claws on the feet as well. Everything about the sculpt on this toy is superb, is really nice, but then when we get to the tail, that's sort of the least strong part of this sculpt because it is a bit short. I would have preferred a longer one, but again, it's Mattel we're talking about for the mainline figures, and they don't make longer tails for those. But I appreciate how they're making longer tails for the Hammond collection. That is very good. But guess what they have on the tail? They've got a heck ton of scars on this as well. Let's have a look at the paintwork. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm shocked at the amount of paint that they put on this. It's got so much of it. especially for a mainline figure. Like, we've got paint on the face, we've got painted eyes, we've got paint on the neck, we've got paint on the body, we've got paint on the tail. Not just one color on the tail, we've got 2 colors on the tail. That's including the scar color, the paint on the scars. We have paint on the thighs and on the calves. And then we've got underbelly color, like the counter shading as well, on top of all of that. But the best part about this is that they painted some scars in. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time we see sculpted scars that have been painted. Like, they've done something similar before with the battle damage, I think that's called, where they just put some red paint randomly on a sculpt with no sculpted scars. But this time they sculpted the scars and actually painted some of them, which is incredible. Now, they approached this cleverly. If we look at the eyes, the pupil isn't painted, but it's the color behind the orange part of the eye that makes it look like the pupil is black. Because it's part of the patterns are like a really dark brown. And another clever thing they did is that they cast the feet in that same dark brown. So they didn't have to go and paint the feet, because the feet are already painted. They usually paint the claws black, but because the feet are dark brown, almost black looking, it doesn't really need black paint on the claws either. It doesn't have any paint on the claws, on the hands, but that's just... Sorry, my cat was scratching the cardboard. But that's just normal for a mainline figure anyway. So the paint is absolutely solid. So let's take a quick look at the action features. By maneuvering the tail, it can snap down or up or to the sides. And with that, let's conclude the review. My thoughts are that I think this thing is beautiful. It's probably one of the best looking toys Mattel's ever done for the main line. It certainly has that 2018 kind of feel and vibe to it in terms of quality and effort. But I think this is a step above, to be honest, because it's got those nice rubber teeth, it's got smaller feet too, it's got painted scars. This thing is gorgeous. I highly recommend you go and grab this figure. This is a must-have in my opinion. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and take care.
I would like to give a massive thank you to all of my Patreons. Seriously guys, your support really does mean the world to me, as it helps me do what I love for you. You help me buy materials, and most of all, you give me a helping hand with improving the quality of the content of my videos. Even if it's just a small donation, every little helps.